Hello friends, welcome back. Welcome to my June 2020 plan with me. You may notice it is well into June, and yes, I let this get away from me again. I was close at the beginning of this month, and then things just spiraled. So I hope that whenever you come across this video later in the month or a later month, you still can enjoy it and get some inspiration from it. The theme that I'm going with this month is unicorns, and you can't see them yet, but I am going to use a lot of pinks and purples, and I found these great washi tapes at DAISO, because DAISO is the best, that have unicorns, and they also have this nice gradiented sky. And using these two Crayola super tips, they blended so nicely. I was amazed. So I really like how this header turned out, and I tried to use it kind of throughout the rest of the month. So I'm using here my white jelly roll pen, and I always forget what it's called. The Sakura, I think, white jelly roll, and it pops really nicely on the darker pink. Harder to see on the lighter pink, but it's still doable. So the other thing that I also am using on this spread, you'll notice the boxes for the days of the month are gray. It's a gray MUJI gel pen. Usually I always use my black MUJI gel pen because it's my favorite pen in the whole world, but I decided the black was a little too harsh when using these kind of soft pastel pinks and purples, but the gray looks really nice. So this is the gray, and you can see here the white looks a little bit harder to read on the light pink, though in real life it does look better. You can see it better, just the angle on the lighting of this makes it a little harder to see that white on the light pink. I wanted to use this sticker, this unicorn sticker, because I've had it forever, and so I decided what better time to use it than my unicorn month. So I just cut it out, because also, who's ever going to use this giant rectangular sticker? I'm not. So I always try to keep my monthly spread rather simple. I basically have to-dos that are just by the end of the month to-dos, and kind of a next month section that reminds me of things that I need to do next month. Otherwise, I will be blindsided, because that's always what happens to me. So here I'm breaking out the washi tapes, and you can kind of see, here's one that's the purple sky with some clouds and stuff. There's also another one that I have that is pink, and it looks a lot more like this, the header. And here we go onto my monthly playlist spread. I decided to go with a mix of summer vibey kind of songs and some sort of melancholy, depressing songs. I felt like it was a good mix of the state of things right now. It's getting into summer, but you know, it's not so great out there. So I included some K-pop songs, some anime songs, and some good old-fashioned American pop songs. So if you're looking for any new music suggestions, I will put a list of the songs in the description. Onto my brain dump page, I am going to do the ombre again, the sky ombre, but using purple, my purple markers. One of them is a Crayola Super Tips and one of them is a Zebra Mildliner, and they don't blend as well as the two Super Tips. I think the Super Tips are a better blending marker than the Mildliners, but it's still, it does its job. And the white Jelly Roll really stands out nicely against the darker purple here. I think gives it more of a night scene, a night sky look, where the pink looks almost more like afternoon or even sunrise. I also used some of the stickers that come with the washi tape on the side just to add some color and some more unicorns, because the world needs more unicorns. Onto the mood tracker page, you'll notice that I already mapped out my shapes with pencil before I started this, and that is because if I don't, I will inevitably run out of room, and it's guaranteed, basically. So plan ahead, friends. I always like to have this drawings on the left side where I fill in the color that corresponds to my overall mood for the day, and then on the right side I write in kind of a list of things that happened during the day. Usually try to mention any triggers for whatever mood I happen to be in. That way I can kind of track my moods a little more helpfully for me. Here's a variation on the ombre gradient sky look. I wanted to put it inside of the title rather than behind the title, and it's a little more chunky. It doesn't blend quite as well because it's such a small area, but I think it's a fun variation that adds some depth to the header here. Onto the habit tracker. Again, I always divide my habits into categories just so it's easier on the eyes. It's easier for me to actually track what I'm doing every day instead of just being a sea of colors. And I do the same thing here, doing the gradient within the title, but with the purple. And I realized that when you go over it with the blending color again, it works better if you draw an upward motion rather than a downward motion, because the upward motion prevents you from getting that like spot of ink buildup at the bottom, which allows it to be more fluid than otherwise. So the first one, the Mood one, I did the opposite, and it looked a little bit more disjointed. And a few extra unicorns here and there. And for this page, this is something that I very rarely do. This is basically just a pretty page because I wanted to use this paper. It's actually part of a gift bag that one of my best friends gave me, and it fit perfectly with my theme. I know a lot of people put kind of a title page or a quote at the beginning of the month, but since I do a 2-page monthly spread, I didn't have space to put it up there, so I'm just gonna put it here. And I think it adds a little flavor. It's just fun and cute. And it says, "Sweet, today is the perfect day." And that's just the kind of positive, pointless statement that sometimes you just need to tell yourself. And here I'm doing a content calendar page. I threw one in closer to the end of the month last month, and I mostly wanted to start doing this because I've been doing more YouTube and also TikTok, bullet journal, and cooking videos, and so I just wanted a way to keep track of the things that I have posted and the things I'm planning to post in this kind of calendar format. So I basically just color code the type of video that it is, and then make kind of a list of the videos again that are posted and the videos that I'm planning to post. So hopefully it will help me keep track and not let anything fall through the cracks, so that you guys can get all of my fabulous content. That's the goal. So I'm going in for the header again with the Sakura Jelly Roll pen, and even using the largest tip that I have, which is a 10, which I think is a millimeter, it still kind of requires going over again just so it's nice and bold. Adding in some stars, some flavor in here. To the weekly page. So for my weeklies this time I am doing a very similar setup functionally to what I had been doing last month. It was working pretty nicely, but I'm changing up the layout of it. So at the top I have my week laid out so that I can have my schedule listed on there, mostly work and things like that. And then in the bottom section I will have my categories for to-do lists. And last month I kind of worked it so I had my weekly schedule on the left side of the page and then used the whole right section to do my categories, but I think this makes more sense and looks nicer even. For me, the categories that I've been using are work, personal, and creative. And then I like to have kind of a spot for self-care, reminders or ideas. So here we go, flipping through the whole thing. Here's the finished month. I added a quote in there, beautiful things take time. Always a helpful reminder. Here's the playlist and the brain dump. Ready for me to scribble all over it. I really like the way it turned out though. My mood tracker, habit tracker. Content calendar, and on my theme page I added a little bit more in there with the markers. I think it filled it in a lot nicer than it was before. And my weekly. So I hope that this helped you guys get some ideas for just different ways that you can track and plan throughout the month and throughout your weeks. I know this is kind of a stressful time right now for a lot of people, so hopefully this can help you find the little things that keep you sane. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.